Hidden danger in your shake. Lead found in many protein powders. Protein powders and ready-to-drink shakes are everywhere now in gym bags, kitchen shelves, online shops. They promise muscle gains, easy nutrition, and a shortcut to better health. But a recent investigation by Consumer Reports raises a red flag. Many of these supplements contain unervingly high levels of lead and other heavy metals. What the investigation found. Consumer Reports tested 23 protein powders and shakes. Over 2/3 of them contained more lead in a single serving than what their safety experts consider acceptable. In some cases, the lead content exceeded the safe level by more than 10 times. Two of the worst offenders, Naked Nutrition's Vegan Mass Gainer and Huel's Black Edition, were flagged as do not consume. Some others, such as Garden of Life Sport Organic Plant-Based Protein and Momentous 100% Plant Protein, weren't extreme offenders but still had enough lead that CR recommended limiting them to once per week. On average, plant-based powders had about 9 times more lead compared to dairy/whey-based alternatives. Some products also contained cadmium and inorganic arsenic at concerning levels. For example, one whey powder, Optimum Nutrition's Serious Mass, had 8.5 micrograms of inorganic arsenic in one serving, more than twice CR's safe limit. Consumer Reports is pushing the FDA to establish stricter limits and enforce testing, since currently dietary supplements, including protein powders, are not strictly vetted before sale. Why does lead get into these powders? The source is partly unavoidable. Heavy metals are naturally present in soil and water. Plants absorb them, and when plant-based proteins, peas, soy, rice, etc., are harvested and processed, trace metals can remain. Environmental pollution, fertilizers, industrial runoffs, and contaminated water sources can increase the burden of metals in crops. Even dairy/whey proteins can carry contamination if the source cows ingest metals through feed, water, or environmental exposure. How dangerous is it? Are we overstating the threat? It's complicated. Lead is a well-recognized toxin. No level of lead exposure is perfectly safe, especially over the long term. It can harm the brain, kidneys, blood pressure, and more especially in children and pregnant women. However, a scientific risk assessment examined the levels of heavy metals in protein powders, based partly on Consumer Reports data, and found that typical use, 1 to 3 servings per day, might not raise the risk above safety thresholds, a hazard index 1 in many cases. PMC in that model, none of the modeled blood lead levels exceeded the CDC's guideline, 5G/DL, when combined with background lead exposure. Still, that doesn't mean there's no risk. The study authors cautioned that repeated exposure over years, especially with high lead products, may accumulate harm. What should consumers do? Here are some practical recommendations. Don't panic, but be cautious. Occasional use of a protein powder probably won't cause immediate harm, but relying heavily on one daily might increase risk. Prefer products with third-party testing or certifications, NSF, USP, Consumer Lab. Those that openly test for heavy metals are safer bets. This is a common practice recommended in supplement safety guides. Rotate between sources of protein. Don't depend exclusively on one powder. Use whole food proteins, meat, eggs, dairy, legumes, as much as possible. Limit intake of high lead flag products. If a product is known to have extremely high lead, avoid it entirely. Advocate for regulatory change. Support calls for stricter regulation of dietary supplements so that consumers don't have to rely purely on manufacturer claims. Final word. The Consumer Reports investigation is a warning shot. Many protein powders and shakes people trust might carry hidden risks. While occasional use may be okay, habitual or heavy reliance on supplements demands caution. Learn where your products come from. Seek transparency, and don't let branding blind you to safety.